Hello everyone and welcome to a different video. I actually had someone wonder or ask or suggest a video topic and I thought I would do that, and it was my top 10 favorite reads, maybe even divided by genre. That I don't think I can do. As far as genre, I mean maybe, but I thought I would do my top 10 overall reads thus far in my life and do it that way. So let's go ahead and just delve right on in. So these are in no particular order, okay, as far as my top 10. Some of them have, there's one that has a little bit more meaning behind it, but all the rest is just that I absolutely love these. I have one manga series on this, and that is Creepy Cat by Valent. There are 4, I think. Yes, there are 4 books in this series. They're short, so quick, easy to get through. I love the the color palette in here. Spooky, gothic. You have witches, vampires, ghosts. It's a ghost cat. Can change sizes and shapes, things like that, kind of like alien-esque, things like that. But if you like paranormal, gothic, and cats, I highly recommend this one. I am bummed there's not going to be any more in this series. It's just going to be the 4 books, and I absolutely love this series. Next, I have one cozy mystery, and this one is One Poison Pie by Lynn Cahoon. Every book in this series has gotten 5 stars. This is book number 1 in a Kitchen Witch mystery series. There is a prequel novella that's about 87-ish pages that takes place before this one. I really enjoy cozy mysteries. I love the fantastical elements that you have this witch. She's trying to, her grandma is great. She's got a great relationship. They live in this small town in Idaho. Mia is trying to open a catering business. She lives with her best friend, who happens to be her ex-boyfriend's sister. And I like the fact that you learn either in book number 1 or in the prequel novella that the best friend, her name is Christina, she is actually autistic. And so I thought that was cool. So I like that. This series has made me giggle on and off. It's just a really fun, cozy mystery series. I love the fact that this cat, you learn right away, is sharing 2 spirits in its body, the spirit of the cat and the spirit of a human being. That's a fun little twist on it. And it's your standard cozy mystery. And out of all the cozy mysteries I've read, this has been my favorite series thus far. Again, every book in this series has gotten 5 stars. The 7th book in this series is supposed to come out this month, and I am so excited for it. I will be getting to it rather quickly. That's how much I love this series. Most of these are going to be series, but there are some standalones, a few of them in here. This next one is another series, and this one is The House Witch by Delemhach. Cozy fantasy. Low stakes. He's the main character in this is Finley Ashowen, or he goes by Finn. He's what's called a house witch, and he basically can read people. He has this ability, so like if they're getting sick, or if like a woman is pregnant, or someone is injured, he can fix something that will give them comfort, that will help their body heal faster and help them feel a lot better. He is able to protect his home, so if someone is coming with ill intentions, he is able to sense that and banish a person, so to speak. And there is a little romance in this. It is clean. And then this cat shows up, which is right here, who turns out to be his familiar, and the cat's name is Kraken. You do get a chapter or 2 out of the whole book, only like 1 or 2 chapters from Kraken's point of view. And this is just a fun series, cozy fantasy. Highly recommend. All of these I highly recommend. This next one is book number 1 in a series, and this is my favorite high epic fantasy, or high fantasy. This gives me Viking vibes. After I read this first book, I came across Peyton Parrish, I believe is the author's name, and he does like Valhalla Calling, and there's this other one that's very Viking-esque songs, and I thought they were great soundtracks to this series. And this one is the Faithful and the Fallen series. This one is book number 1, which is Malice by John Gwynne. I am loving this author's writing. I absolutely love this series. I love the Viking vibes. It is hard to read at times with animal death, and there's gore and blood. It's violence. You have good versus evil fighting in a war. People die, animals die. So it is a little hard to read at times, but I thoroughly, absolutely love this series. I love this series. So we have the Faithful and the Fallen series. I am actually reading, there is a series that follows this one. So this series, this one is the series of Blood and Bone. This takes place about a little over 100 years after the events of this one. In this series, there are references to events that happen in this and characters that happen in this series. So you definitely need to read the Faithful and the Fallen series before you read the Of Blood and Bone series. Between these two series, this one's my favorite series. And again, I think it's what really got me into the writing. And sometimes you pick up the first book by an author and fall in love with it, and then other books just by that author just don't live up to the love that you had of the first book that you picked up, but you still enjoy it. But still loving that series, but this one is my favorite out of it so far. And this author does have another series. I think it's a trilogy. I do have that whole trilogy on deck to read at some point. Now this one is supposed to be a series. I have kept my eye out. This is actually going to be book number 1. And I have not seen anything about book number 2 yet. This author does have another series out, but I like this one over the other one, the other series. I thoroughly enjoyed the other series. I don't remember the other series. It's like the Butterfly Garden or something like that. But the author is Hutchison, and this one is my favorite from this that I've read so far is Deadly Waters. I keep thinking about it. I keep hoping Dot will put out book number 2. This is, yeah, so the Butterfly Garden. Oh, the Collector series. The Butterfly Garden is part of the Collector series. This one, I don't remember the name that's going to be of this series. I want to say it has to do with the name of Rebecca. Could be wrong on that. This one takes place in Florida, and think female vengeance. Female wanting to protect other females and revenge on the men that sexually assault, that rape, that do all that bad stuff that bother women. And so female vengeance on the men, and there are alligators or crocodiles, I think alligators, involved. Again, set in Florida at a university, and yeah, I love a female vengeance, female revenge book. I absolutely love those ones. So if you have any suggestions for a good female revenge, female vengeance, please let me know. I'm finding I absolutely love that type of trope. There's a lot of tropes I like the touch her and die, but I also really like the female vengeance. Thoroughly enjoy those ones. So this is supposed to be book number 1 in a series. I don't know how long it's going to be or if it's going to be a duology, but I have not seen anything. So I hope Dot didn't change her mind or anything like that. This particular book was published in, let me see, 2020. So 4.5, 5 years, about, depending on when this was published, but I really want the next book in this series. Yeah. Okay, let's go ahead and move on. Okay, this next one. So there's a particular magical series that has always been my favorite, but as far as the magic elements, this particular book I'm going to show you actually made me love this series more than the other one. So, and I am so excited to pick up. I really want to get more. I have like 2 other books by this author that I haven't picked up, and I think part of it is that I'm intimidated and afraid I'm not going to like it as much as I liked this one, or love it as much as I love this one. And this one I did learn is actually part of a series. There is a sequel out for this one. That's The House in the Cerulean Sea. Oh my gosh, you can't really see, but I do have a lot of tabs underlined. I loved the feelings that this gave me, the messages that were in this, all that I underlined. Like, for example, I have, let me give you one that I underlined, if I can get to it. Okay, so there's two. There's one on both of these pages. This one says, people aren't black and white. No matter how hard you try, you can't stay on one path without diversions. And that doesn't mean you're a bad person. And then the other quote that I underlined is, to err is to be human, irrational or not. And while some mistakes are bigger than others, if we learn from them, we become better people. A lot of great quotes like that throughout this book. Oh my gosh, I love this one. It made me cry. I really need to pick up more of TJ Klune's writing. I absolutely love this. I really need to pick up the sequel, but it's like I'm trying to save it. I'm nervous I'm not going to love it as much. It's going to be this huge disappointment. But oh my gosh, loved this book. Loved that book. Okay, so 4 more. This next one is a young adult, and it is a dystopian. I really do enjoy dystopian books. I don't find dystopians to be as prevalent as like romance and fantasy and historical fiction. So I find them to be a smaller genre. And so obviously because I don't have as many dystopian books, I don't pick them up as often as I do romance and other books. But this one is the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. I have been wanting to reread this series for so long. Have I picked it up to reread it? No. In fact, I think I'm going to keep this book out so that it's, instead of putting it back on my red bookshelf, I'm going to put it back. I'm going to put it in a pile to prioritize it because I really want to reread this. Absolutely loved this series. And I know there's a movie adaptation, couple of movie adaptations. I enjoyed them, but this is definitely one that I think the books are a lot better. That is usually the case for them. Occasionally I might think those adaptations are better than the books, but this is one where I think the books are definitely a lot better than the movies or the adaptation. So thoroughly loved. Next up is a romance. Now this one is actually a clean romance. It is a Christian romance. There is talk of God and of religion. So just be aware of that. But this is a clean romance. And this is what kind of kicked off my enjoyment of romance. And obviously it's grown, and I do read erotica, and I'll go from clean and Christian to erotica. So anyway, this one is a clean romance. It is a Christian romance. And this one is book number 1 in a Bradford Sisters romance, True to You. Now, I don't know if every romance that this author writes, who is Becky Wade, I don't know if every romance that she writes will be a Christian fiction or a Christian romance, but this one is. I do need to continue. I did read, there is a prequel novella. I did read that, thoroughly enjoyed that one. And there's 2 other books. This gal has 2 sisters, and each one follows a different sister. So I really like it with different interconnecting characters, things like that. But oh, absolutely love this one. Very sweet. The emphasis on this is the relationship. The emphasis is not the sex, hence why it is a sweet or a clean romance. And I love the fact that she is a strawberry blonde or a redhead. I don't find a lot of redheaded characters, so I love the fact that the main female character in this is a redhead. Next is a paranormal, and I wish more people would read this. I really do. I wish more people would read all of these. But that is The End of Temperance Street by Wendy Webb. I read this one time on a lunch break at work when I was still working in the office. This was before COVID-19 hit. And I was like gasping and like, oh my gosh, I got nervous. Think occult, like exorcism, possession type thing. You have a little bit of that. Hauntings, you don't know what's real or what's in someone's head, type of a situation. I really like this one. So this one, this gal's looking for a new job. She gets hired on at this artist's retreat, which happens to be an old tuberculosis asylum that has been converted to a artist's retreat. So, and there's a specific reason why everyone is there. But yeah, I don't know. This cover kind of creeps me out because it's a little girl looking back into the darkness. And I got my mom to read this one and it freaked her out. Gave me the creeps, and Other books that I've read from this author I have enjoyed, but not nearly as much as this one. They all have paranormal aspects to it, at least the ones that I have read so far. But this one has been my favorite from this author. And when people want a recommendation, and they say they like horror, I always go to this one first. So the last book I have to show you is a young adult, and this one is Queens of Geek by Jen Wilde. We're following some teenagers as they come to the United States for a Comic-Con. So they are in California. They are visiting from Australia, and they're at the cusp of life where they're going to be graduating from high school, and they're looking at their life for the future going on. We have 2 different romances. This does have LGBT, specifically a female bisexual is mentioned, but the reason I like this is the first book I read where I felt seen in a way, and so I can definitely see this definitely made me understand more of the need for diversity and representation. I've always wanted more diversity and more representation in books, but this just emphasized it, drove it home more, and it hit me personally because this one does have autism rep in this, and the character, she would be considered quote-unquote high functioning, or has low support needs, something along those lines. But her stimming behavior are things that are small, like she would twirl her hair, that's her stimming, bouncing her leg, things like that. So and learning how to mask, having trouble reading people, it just all the stuff that I've struggled with. This is the first one that I absolutely personally felt seen, and I would love more people to read this one too. I want to reread it again and again and again. One thing I did underline, I'll tell you, is it's not my job to convince others of who I am. My only job is to be who I am. All I can do is find what makes me happy and live it. And I am still working on that. And so I identified a lot with this character in here who is autistic. And that is it. Those are all of the books that I have absolutely loved. Top 10 favorites in my life thus far. I would love to be able to add. I don't know if maybe I'll read something that'll knock one of these off of my top 10 list. But as of right now, those are my top 10 favorite books. Let me know if you have read any of these books, or if you have read from any of these authors. Definitely let me know. Talk to me and what is one of your top favorite books that you have ever read in your life? Definitely let me know. Talk to me in the comment section below. And until next time, stay true to yourself and enjoy a good book. And I will talk to you later.